morning I'm hearing a systolic murmur. Is there any simple hack to differentiate between different types of systolic murmur?
There is a simple hack to differentiate between the different types of systolic murmurs in cardiology. First of all, we have 4 important types of systolic murmurs: early systolic murmur, mid systolic or otherwise called as ejection systolic murmur, late systolic murmur, and a pan systolic or otherwise called as holosystolic murmur. And you already know that systolic murmurs are going to be heard between the first and the second heart sound. And you have to notice which heart sound is obscured by the murmur. If you are not able to hear S1 properly, but if you are able to hear S2 properly, and if you hear a systolic murmur in between, it's likely to be an early systolic murmur. If you are not able to hear S2 properly, but if you are able to hear S1 properly, and if you hear a systolic murmur in between, that's likely to be a late systolic murmur. And if you are able to hear both S1 and S2 properly, and if you are able to hear a systolic murmur in between, that's likely to be a ejection systolic or mid systolic murmur. And if you are not able to hear both S1 and S2, and if you hear a systolic murmur, that's likely to be a pan systolic or a holosystolic murmur. In this patient, you are able to hear both S1 and S2 properly, and there is a systolic murmur in between. So what type of murmur it is?
Ejection systolic murmur?
There you go. Now have a look at this murmur, guys. Here the murmur is obscuring both S1 and S2, and it's heard throughout the systole, and that's why this is a pan-systolic murmur.
Thank you, sir. It is a great hack.
Hey, you cannot just like that escape by saying a simple thank you. You along the viewers should be able to answer this question as well. This patient is 65 years of age and is having an ejection systolic murmur in the right upper sternal border, which is radiating to both the carotids. So what is the likely diagnosis? Mention answers in the comments below.